Close your eyes and picture an entrepreneur. What do you see? If you consume modern business media, you probably picture a 20-something tech genius in a Silicon Valley boardroom, pitching a revolutionary app to a table of aggressive venture capitalists. You picture someone asking for $5 million. You picture business plans, massive offices, board meetings, and 80-hour workweeks. We have been sold a massive, exhausting lie about what it takes to start a business. We have been told that to be an entrepreneur, you must risk your life savings. You must take on massive debt. You must hire a team of employees. You must dedicate every waking second of your existence to scaling a massive corporate empire. What if you don't want an empire? What if you just want your freedom? Welcome to the Book Vault, the $100 startup. Reinvent the way you make a living, do what you love, and create a new future by Chris Guillebeau. Chris Guillebeau spent years traveling to almost every country on Earth. Along the way, he noticed a quiet, massive revolution happening beneath the radar of the traditional business world. He met thousands of ordinary people who were building highly profitable businesses without bank loans, without employees, and without massive risks. They were starting businesses with $100, a laptop, and a specific skill. They were not building empires. They were building micro-businesses. And they were using these businesses to buy back their time, design their own lifestyles, and achieve total financial independence. Over the next 3 sessions, we are going to completely rewrite the rules of entrepreneurship. We are going to strip away the complex financial models and the venture capitalist mythology. Chapter 1. The Micro-Business Revolution, the Roaming Entrepreneur. Let us define exactly what kind of business we are building in this masterclass. We are not building a startup in the traditional sense. We are building a micro-business. A micro-business is typically run by one person. It has extremely low overhead, meaning it costs almost nothing to run. It does not require a physical storefront. And most importantly, the primary goal of the microbusiness is not to go public on the stock market or get bought out by a massive corporation. The primary goal of the microbusiness is to provide a phenomenal income that supports a lifestyle of absolute freedom for the founder. Narrator. The death of the gatekeepers, 50 years ago. If you wanted to start a business, you needed the permission of gatekeepers. You needed a bank to approve your loan. You needed a publisher to print your book. You needed a television network to run your advertisement. Today, the gatekeepers are dead. You can set up a website for $10. You can set up a PayPal or Stripe account to accept credit cards in 5 minutes. You can reach millions of people globally through social media for free. The friction between having an idea and getting paid for that idea has dropped to zero. Because the friction is gone, a new class of professional has emerged. The roaming entrepreneur. Chris Guillebeau introduces us to people who run $100,000 a year businesses from their kitchen tables, from RVs traveling across the country, and from coffee shops in Thailand. They are graphic designers, travel hackers, writers, consultants, and creators. They have completely decoupled their income from their physical location. But to join this revolution, you must understand the exact formula that makes a microbusiness work. You cannot just sell whatever you want. You must find the intersection of passion and commerce. Chapter 2. The Alchemy of Convergence. Passion versus Value. For decades, the self-help industry has screamed a very specific, very dangerous piece of advice. Follow your passion, and the money will follow. Chris Guillebeau states unequivocally that this is terrible advice. If your passion is eating pizza and playing video games, the money is not going to magically follow you. If your passion is writing poetry that no one else understands, you will starve. A passion without a market is simply a hobby. Conversely, a market without passion, doing something you hate just because it pays well, is a miserable job. The secret to a successful $100 startup is a concept called convergence. Narrator. The sweet spot. Imagine a Venn diagram with 2 overlapping circles. Circle 1 is what you love to do, your passions, your skills, your interests. Circle 2 is what other people care about, the things people are actually willing to spend their hard-earned money to acquire or solve. The overlapping space in the middle is convergence. Your job as an entrepreneur is to find the exact point where your passion intersects with someone else's desperate need. You are not trying to convince people to care about your passion. You are finding a way to use your passion to solve their problems. Chapter 3. Skill Transformation, the Myth of the Expert. When people try to find their convergence point, they immediately hit a psychological wall. They say, "But I don't have any special skills. I am not a certified expert in anything. I don't have a degree in business or computer science." We have been conditioned by the corporate world to believe that you can only sell a skill if you possess a framed piece of paper proving you are the absolute master of it. The microbusiness world operates on a completely different law: skill transformation. Narrator. The hidden inventory. You already possess an inventory of skills, but you are likely blind to them because you assume that if something is easy for you, it must be easy for everyone else. If you are incredibly organized and you love planning complex family vacations, you think, "That's just normal." It is not normal. To someone who is overwhelmed, stressed, and disorganized, planning a complex vacation is a nightmare. Your normal organizational habit is their magic trick. Skill transformation is the art of taking a skill you acquired in one area of your life and applying it to a completely different market. Let's look at the story of Brandon Pierce. Brandon was a piano teacher. He had a lot of students and he was struggling to keep track of their payments, their scheduling, and their progress. He was losing money because he was disorganized. Brandon wasn't a master software engineer, but he knew enough basic coding to build a very simple, incredibly ugly database just to manage his own piano students. Other music teachers saw his database and asked if they could use it. Brandon didn't have an MBA. He wasn't a tech CEO. He was just a piano teacher who had solved his own frustrating problem. He realized that his simple solution, his transformed skill, had immense value. He cleaned up the software, called it Music Teacher's Helper, and started charging a small monthly fee. Today, that simple software, built by a piano teacher to solve a scheduling problem, generates millions of dollars a year in passive income. The tactic: you do not need to be the greatest expert in the world to start a business. You only need to be one step ahead of the person you are teaching. If you want to teach a course on basic investing, you do not need to be Warren Buffett. In fact, Warren Buffett would be a terrible teacher for a beginner because he has forgotten what it feels like to be completely uneducated about money. The best teacher for someone who knows absolutely nothing about investing is someone who learned how to do it exactly 1 year ago. Stop looking at your resume. Start looking at the problems you solve effortlessly in your daily life. The things you take for granted are the exact things people will pay you to teach them. Chapter 4. The core human needs. Give them the fish. You have found your convergence. You have identified your transformed skill. Now you have to sell it. And this is where 90% of beginners fail completely. When beginners build a product, they try to sell the features. If they build a fitness app, they sell the fact that it has customizable timers, a database of 500 exercises, and cloud syncing capabilities. No one cares about your cloud syncing capabilities. Chris Guillebeau explains that human beings do not buy features. They do not buy logic. Human beings buy emotions, and they buy the fulfillment of core human needs. Narrator. What people actually buy. When a customer opens their wallet, they are secretly trying to acquire one of 4 things. 1. More love or connection/status. 2. More money. 3. More free time. 4. Less stress/pain. If your product does not clearly, immediately, and undeniably deliver one of these 4 core needs, you will not make a single dollar. Let's go back to the fitness app. The customer does not want a database of 500 exercises. What do they actually want? They want to look in the mirror and feel confident. They want to walk on the beach without feeling ashamed. They want more connection and higher status. When you market your product, you must speak directly to the emotional core of the customer's desire. You must translate your features into deeply human benefits. Narrator. The give them the fish principle. There is an old proverb that says, "Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime." It is a beautiful proverb. But in the microbusiness world, Chris Guillebeau offers a sharp, controversial correction. Most entrepreneurs try to be noble. They want to teach people how to fish. They create massive, complex 100-hour video courses that teach the customer every single detail of how to do something themselves. But here is the brutally honest truth about the modern consumer. They are exhausted. They do not want to learn how to fish. They just want the fish. If you can build a product that simply does the hard work for the customer, your business will explode. Do not sell a 10-hour course on how to design a beautiful resume that requires the customer to do the work. Instead, sell 10 beautifully designed, pre-made resume templates where the customer just has to type their name and hit print. You gave them the fish. You removed their stress immediately. The lesson: look at the product or service you want to build. Are you selling a complex feature, or are you selling more free time and less stress? Are you forcing the customer to learn a new skill, or are you just handing them the solution? Find the deepest, most desperate emotional need of your customer and build a bridge directly to it. Strip away all the complex features. Deliver the result. Give them the fish. Chapter 5. The one-page business plan. Action over planning. Why do traditional business plans exist? They exist for one reason only: to convince a bank or a venture capitalist to lend you money. If you are starting a $100 micro-business, you are not asking a bank for money. Therefore, writing a 60-page business plan with 5-year financial projections is an absolute, delusional waste of your time. You are trying to predict the future of a business that does not even exist yet. Chris Guillebeau demands a bias toward action. He replaces the massive binder with the one-page business plan. Narrator. The 3 pillars of the one-page plan. To launch a micro-business, you only need to answer 3 questions. If you can answer these 3 questions, you are ready to launch tomorrow. 1. What are you selling? The product. This cannot be a vague, philosophical statement. You must define exactly what the customer receives. I am selling a 30-page PDF guide on how to travel to Europe for under $500. 2. Who will buy it? The customer. Everyone is not a customer base. If you market to everyone, you appeal to no one. Be brutally specific. I am selling this to college students and recent graduates who want to travel but have massive student loan debt. 3. How will you get paid? The mechanism. How does the money move from their bank account to yours? I am setting up a basic WordPress site and placing a PayPal Buy Now button on the front page. That is it. That is your business plan. Narrator. The 140-character mission statement. To prove that your plan is clear, Guillebeau challenges you to write your entire business mission statement in 140 characters or less, the length of an old-school tweet. If someone asks you what you do, and you ramble for 5 minutes about synergy, holistic approaches, and shifting paradigms, you will lose them. A confused mind never buys. Your 140-character mission statement should follow this exact formula. I provide product/service for specific customer, so they can core human benefit. Example. I create pre-made meal prep plans for busy single mothers, so they can save 10 hours a week and stop stressing about dinner. It is clear. It is punchy. It speaks directly to a core human need: saving time, reducing stress. Write the one-page plan. Write the 140-character mission statement. And then stop planning. Go find your first paying customer. Chapter 6. Value-based pricing. The psychology of money. I am selling this to college students and recent graduates who want to travel but have massive student loan debt. 3. How will you get paid? The mechanism. How does the money move from their bank account to yours? I am setting up a basic WordPress site and placing a PayPal Buy Now button on the front page. That is it. That is your business plan. Narrator. The 140-character mission statement. To prove that your plan is clear, Guillebeau challenges you to write your entire business mission statement in 140 characters or less, the length of an old-school tweet. If someone asks you what you do, and you ramble for 5 minutes about synergy, holistic approaches, and shifting paradigms, you will lose them. A confused mind never buys. Your 140-character mission statement should follow this exact formula. I provide product/service for specific customer, so they can core human benefit. Example. I create pre-made meal prep plans for busy single mothers so they can save 10 hours a week and stop stressing about dinner. It is clear. It is punchy. It speaks directly to a core human need, saving time, reducing stress. Write the one-page plan. Write the 140-character mission statement. And then stop planning. Go find your first paying customer. Chapter 6. Value-based pricing, the psychology of money. We now arrive at the most common, fatal mistake made by new entrepreneurs. You have a product. How much do you charge for it? Most people use a model called cost-plus pricing, or they charge an hourly rate. They look at their product and say, well, it cost me $10 in materials and it took me 2 hours to make. I value my time at $20 an hour. So, $10 plus $40 equals $50. I will charge $50. This pricing model is fundamentally broken. It limits your income and, more importantly, it deeply misunderstands human psychology. Narrator. The parable of the locksmith. To understand why charging for your time is a trap, consider the story of the locksmith. When a locksmith is an amateur, it might take him an hour to pick a broken lock. While he is sweating and struggling for an hour, the customer is standing there watching him work hard. When the locksmith finally opens the door and charges $100, the customer happily pays. They think, wow, he worked really hard for a whole hour. He earned that $100. 10 years later, the locksmith is a master. He arrives at a house, looks at the lock, and pops it open in exactly 5 seconds. When he asks the customer for $100, the customer is furious. They say, $100? It only took you 5 seconds. You didn't work hard at all. Do you see the psychological trap? The customer does not actually care about the locksmith's time. The customer only cares about the result, getting inside their house. In fact, getting inside the house in 5 seconds is vastly superior to waiting outside in the cold for an hour. The master locksmith provided a better service. But because the customer is conditioned to equate time with money, they feel ripped off. Narrator. Pricing the value, not the time. You must completely detach your price from the time it took you to create the product. You must use value-based pricing. Value-based pricing asks one question. What is the financial, emotional, or time-saving value of the result I am delivering to the customer? If you design a piece of software that saves a small business owner 20 hours a week, and their time is worth $50 an hour, your software just saved them $1,000 a week. That is $52,000 a year in value. If it only took you 5 hours to code that software, should you charge $100 for it? Absolutely not. You should charge $5,000 for it. To the business owner, paying $5,000 to save $52,000 is an absolute bargain. They do not care that it only took you 5 hours to code. They care about the result. When you price based on value, your income becomes completely decoupled from your hours. This is how a microbusiness scales to 6 figures without the founder working 80-hour weeks. Chapter 7. The tiered pricing strategy, the decoy effect. Now that you are pricing based on value, how do you actually structure the offer on your website? If you offer only one price for your product, you are leaving massive amounts of money on the table. Chris Guillebeau strongly advocates for tiered pricing. When you offer only one price, the customer's brain asks a binary question. Should I buy this, or should I not buy this? But when you offer 3 different pricing tiers, the customer's brain subconsciously shifts the question. It stops asking, should I buy? And starts asking, which one of these should I buy? Narrator. The psychology of the tiers, you must create 3 tiers. The basic, the premium, and the elite. 1. The basic tier, $50, this is just the core product. The PDF guide, the basic software, or the primary service. It is designed for the price-sensitive customer. 2. The premium tier, $150, this includes the core product, plus highly valuable bonuses. Video tutorials, templates, or an exclusive community forum. 3. The elite tier, $500, this is where the magic happens. The elite tier includes everything in the premium tier, plus direct, one-on-one access to you. A consulting call, a personalized review, or a VIP service. Why do you create the elite tier? 2 reasons. First, there is a certain percentage of the population that will always buy the most expensive option simply because they want the best, and they have the money to spend. If you do not have a $500 option, you literally prevent them from giving you their money. Second, it utilizes a psychological trick called price anchoring, or the decoy effect. If you only offer a $150 product, some people will think it is too expensive. But if you place that $150 product right next to a massive $500 product, suddenly the $150 option looks like an incredibly reasonable, safe middle ground deal. By offering tiers, you dramatically increase your average order value without having to find a single new customer. Chapter 8. The Hollywood Launch, Manufacturing Momentum. You have the one-page plan. You have your value-based pricing tiers. It is time to release your product to the world. How do most beginners launch a product? They spend 3 months working in absolute silence. They don't tell anyone what they are doing. Then, one day, they launch their website, send out a single email saying, "My product is available to buy." And they wait. They hear crickets. Nothing happens. This is not a launch. This is whispering into the void. Chris Guillebeau teaches that if you want explosive sales, you must treat your product exactly like a blockbuster movie. You must execute the Hollywood launch. Narrator. The campaign sequence. When a movie studio releases a $100 million superhero movie, they do not just release it in theaters on a random Tuesday. They build a campaign. 6 months before release, they drop a teaser poster. 3 months before release, they drop a dramatic trailer. A week before release, the actors go on talk shows. By the time Friday night arrives, the audience is in a frenzy, lined up around the block, desperate to give the theater their money. You must manufacture this exact same momentum for your microbusiness. A launch is not an email. A launch is an event. It is a highly choreographed sequence of communications. Phase 1, the tease, 2 to 3 weeks out. You send a message to your email list, your social media, or your friends. You do not ask them to buy anything. You simply say, "I have been working on a massive project. It is going to completely change how you solve specific problem. I'll share more details next week." You have planted the seed. You have created curiosity. Phase 2. The trailer, 1 week out. You reveal the problem your product solves. You share a story of how it helped someone, or yourself. You establish the massive value of the result. And you announce the exact date and time the product will be available. Phase 3. Opening weekend, the launch. This is the day the cart opens. You send the email. It is live. But here is the critical psychological trigger you must include: urgency and scarcity. If a customer thinks they can buy your product at any time, they will put it off until tomorrow. And tomorrow means never. You must give them a reason to buy today. During opening weekend, you offer a launch discount that disappears in 48 hours. Or you offer an exclusive bonus, like a live Q&A call, only to the first 50 buyers. Phase 4. The closing window. This is the most profitable day of the launch. 12 hours. Before the launch discount or the special bonus expires, you send a final warning email. The doors are closing. The price goes up at midnight. Human beings are biologically wired to fear missing out, FOMO. The closing window forces the customer off the fence. They have to make a decision. By treating your product like a blockbuster movie, you transform a silent, ignored release into a massively profitable, momentum-driven event. Chapter 9. The Unbeatable Offer and Risk Reversal. During your Hollywood launch, you are driving people to a sales page. What makes a customer actually click the buy button? They must be presented with an unbeatable offer. An offer is not just the product itself. An offer is the complete package: the product, the bonuses, the price, and the guarantee. Guillebeau explains that an unbeatable offer must be a no-brainer. When the customer reads it, they should feel like they are taking advantage of you. To craft an unbeatable offer, you must master the art of risk reversal. Narrator. Taking the danger off the table. When a stranger arrives at your website, they are skeptical. They are afraid. They are holding their credit card, thinking, "What if this is a scam? What if this product is terrible? What if I waste my money?" The customer is carrying 100% of the risk. And when the customer carries the risk, their brain triggers hesitation. You must take the risk completely off their shoulders and place it onto your own. Most businesses offer a standard, boring 30-day money-back guarantee. This is weak. It does not inspire confidence. If you truly believe in the value of your product, you must offer an over-the-top guarantee. An over-the-top guarantee removes the risk so aggressively that it becomes absurd not to buy. Example: if you buy my guide to freelance writing, apply the templates, and do not land your first paying client within 60 days, I will not only refund your entire purchase price, but I will personally write you a check for $50 for wasting your time. When a customer reads that, their brain short-circuits. The fear of losing money is gone. You have reversed the risk completely. Will a few dishonest people take advantage of an over-the-top guarantee and ask for refunds? Yes. But the massive, exponential increase in sales you generate by offering such a fearless guarantee will dwarf the tiny percentage of refunds you have to process. Be bold. Guarantee the result. Make the offer impossible to refuse. Chapter 10. The Art of Hustling, Marketing Without Money. When traditional businesses want to grow, they open their checkbooks. They buy billboards, they buy television ads, and they pay massive marketing agencies. You started your business with $100. You do not have a marketing budget. So, how do you get the world to pay attention to you? You must master the art of hustling. In the modern world, the word hustle has been hijacked. People think hustling means spamming strangers on LinkedIn, aggressively pitching your product to everyone you meet, and working 100 hours a week until you burn out. Chris Guillebeau redefines hustling completely. Hustling is the art of working hard to connect with people who can help you, by helping them first. Narrator. The 51% rule of strategic giving. If you want to market your business for free, you must build relationships with people who already have the audience you want. Bloggers, podcasters, journalists, and influencers. But if you send an email to a podcaster and say, "Hi, I just launched a product. Can I come on your show to promote it?" They will delete your email in 1 second. You are asking for a favor without providing any value. You are acting like a spammer. The true hustler operates on the 51% rule. In every professional relationship you build, you must commit to providing 51% of the value. You must give more than you take. Before you ever ask a podcaster to feature your product, you must become their most valuable asset. You share their episodes. You write a brilliant, detailed review of their show. You send them an email pointing out a broken link on their website, and you provide the exact code to fix it. You give and you give and you give. By the time you finally say, "Hey, I built a tool that I think your audience would absolutely love," they do not view you as a spammer. They view you as a trusted ally. The tactic, Guillebeau suggests a simple daily metric for the hustler. Spend 50% of your time creating your product, and spend 50% of your time connecting with the world. Every single day, reach out to 3 people. Not to pitch them, but to help them. Send a compliment. Make an introduction. Share an article. Marketing without money is not about shouting the loudest. It is about becoming so radically helpful to the gatekeepers of your industry that they willingly open the gates for you. Chapter 11. Tweaking the engine, the 1% improvement. Once you have traffic coming to your business, your instinct will be to scramble to find even more traffic. You will think, "I have 1,000 visitors a month. I need to figure out how to get 10,000 visitors." This is the hard way to make more money. The easy way to make more money is by tweaking. Tweaking is the process of making microscopic adjustments to your existing business that yield massive, compounding financial returns. Let's look at the math. If 1,000 people visit your website, and 1% of them buy your $100 product, you make $1,000. If you want to double your income to $2,000, you have 2 choices. Choice A. You can work yourself to death hustling to find 1,000 brand new visitors. Choice B. You can change the headline on your sales page, improve the color of your buy button, and add a better guarantee, risk reversal, increasing your conversion rate from 1% to 2%. Choice B takes exactly 1 hour of work, and it doubles your income permanently. Narrator. The power of the upsell and cross-sell. The absolute best time to sell something to a customer is the exact microsecond after they have already decided to buy something from you. Their wallet is open. Their trust in you is active. You must implement upsells and cross-sells. The cross-sell. The customer is buying a $50 guide on how to start a freelance writing business. Right before they check out, a box pops up. Would you also like to add my $20 email pitch templates to your order? 30% of people will click yes. You just increased your revenue with zero extra marketing. The upsell, the customer buys the $50 guide. Immediately after checkout, the confirmation page says, "Thank you for buying the guide. For the next 20 minutes only, you can upgrade to a one-on-one coaching call with me for $150. Do not ignore the engine you have already built. Before you spend a month hunting for new customers, spend an afternoon tightening the bolts on your sales page. A 1% tweak in conversion is worth 1,000 new visitors." Chapter 12. Franchising yourself, the hub and spoke model. There is a biological limit to how much a microbusiness can earn if you are only selling one product, or if you are trading your time for money. If you are a consultant, you only have 24 hours in a day. You cannot clone yourself, but you can franchise yourself. In a traditional franchise like McDonald's, the corporation sells the exact same business model to thousands of different owners. As a microbusiness owner, you use the hub and spoke model to franchise your expertise. Narrator. Building the spokes. You are the hub. Your expertise, your brand, and your unique perspective are the center of the wheel. From that hub, you must build multiple spokes, different revenue streams that operate independently but feed back into the center. Let's say you are an incredible graphic designer. That is your hub. A spoke one. You do high-end, one-on-one client work, high price, low volume. A spoke two. You write an ebook on the psychology of logo design and sell it for $29, low price, high volume, passive income. A spoke three. You launch a paid, private online community for aspiring designers who pay you $10 a month for access and feedback, recurring revenue. Spoke four. You partner with a brilliant copywriter. You provide the design, they provide the words, and you sell a complete website overhaul package, splitting the profits 50/50, joint venture. You did not have to learn a brand new industry. You took the exact same core expertise, the hub, and packaged it into 4 entirely different formats, the spokes. Chapter 13. The freedom metric, the trap of scaling. We arrive at the most profound, counterintuitive, and liberating chapter in the entire book. If you execute the strategies in this masterclass, your business will grow. You will make $50,000, then $100,000, then $250,000. When this happens, the traditional business world will begin screaming at you. They will say, "You need to scale. You need to rent an office. You need to hire 5 employees. You need to go for $1 million." Chris Guillebeau asks you to stop, take a breath, and ask a terrifying question. Do you actually want to scale? Narrator. The story of the unhappy CEO. Guillebeau tells the story of an entrepreneur who built a brilliant, highly profitable microbusiness. It was just him and his laptop. He worked 25 hours a week and made $150,000 a year. He was incredibly happy. Then he listened to the experts. He decided to scale. He rented a commercial office. He hired 6 full-time employees. His revenue skyrocketed to $1 million a year. But when he looked at his life a year later, he was miserable. Because he had employees, he had to worry about payroll. He spent his entire day managing office politics, dealing with HR complaints, and paying massive overhead for the office space. His profit margin shrank so drastically that even though the business made $1 million, his personal take-home pay was less than when he worked alone. He had traded a 25-hour week of pure creative freedom for a 70-hour week of corporate babysitting. He had successfully built an empire, and he absolutely hated his life. What did he do? He fired everyone, shut down the office, and went back to being a microbusiness of one. He reclaimed his freedom. Narrator. Measuring what actually matters. Traditional businesses measure success using revenue, market share, and headcount. In the microbusiness revolution, we use a completely different standard of measurement: the freedom metric. The purpose of a $100 startup is not to build a Fortune 500 company. The purpose is to buy your autonomy. Before you make any decision to grow, to launch a new product, or to hire a contractor, you must run it through the freedom metric filter. Will this decision give me more freedom, or will it tie me down? Will this extra $50,000 in revenue require me to work weekends for the next year? If an opportunity makes you wealthy but costs you your autonomy, a roaming entrepreneur rejects the opportunity. Conclusion: the manifesto of the microbusinessu have reached the end of the methodology. Look at the psychological and financial chains you have broken over these 3 masterclass sessions. You no longer believe that entrepreneurship requires a massive bank loan and a boardroom. You know that true value lies at the convergence of your transformed skills and a desperate human need. You know to give them the fish. You have burned the 60-page business plan, replacing it with the brutal clarity of a single page and a 140-character mission. You have detached your income from your time, utilizing value-based pricing and the decoy effect of tiers. You have mastered the Hollywood launch, reversing the risk to manufacture explosive sales. You know that true hustling is strategic giving. You know how to franchise your expertise into an unbreakable ecosystem of passive income. And most importantly, you know the ultimate secret: freedom is greater than scale. Narrator: the final charge. For the last century, we have been told that we must sacrifice the best years of our lives to a corporation in exchange for the promise of a safe retirement. The $100 startup is a rebellion against that promise. You do not need to wait until you are 65 years old to live your life. The tools to build your autonomy are sitting on your desk right now: a laptop, an internet connection, and the willingness to solve a problem for someone else. You do not need permission. The gatekeepers are dead. Take your $100. Find your convergence. Build your one-page plan. And go buy back your freedom.